Hi guys, Mike of Mike Reviews It All, and today I want to talk about why I think we need another Teddy Roosevelt. Facebook, Spotify, Apple, Google, who owns YouTube, of course. They've all gotten to the point to where they're like their own government. They're maybe one of the most powerful governments in the world as a conglomerate. They all got together and took down somebody that I don't agree with this person's views whatsoever. I've stated that before, but I do worry about free speech, and there is such thing as a slippery slope. Now, I know there are people out there that want to villainize even the term slippery slope. Is to say that we're being some kind of racist, bigoted, hate-mongering, fill in the ist of the blank. You don't agree with person on left, person on right, you're Antifa, you're a Nazi, you're some kind of psychotic lizard person from, a planet we've never heard of. Get as ridiculous as you want. Somebody who I think was very reasonable was Teddy Roosevelt. We may not have a country without him. And I just wanted to flash back to a video me and a couple of my friends, guys I call Ryan the Savage and Garth of the Cosmos, video that we had made just a little under a year ago. I think it's maybe even more relevant today than it was even a year ago, though I hope to reunite with these guys very soon. But this was part of a conversation that we had about a year ago. I think why Trump was reelected. I think a lot of people honestly thought he was going to be the new Teddy Roosevelt.
Oh, God, no. I like Teddy Roosevelt. Don't ever compare Trump to Teddy
I love Teddy Roosevelt, too, but some of the things that Trump promised were good.
Why do you like Teddy Roosevelt?
Oh, we're going to have another disagreement here.
No, I don't know. Specifically, what did he do that you really impressed you as makes you
sent the Great White Fleet around the world to say, don't fuck with America.
Okay.
Got the Panama Canal started, developed Secretary of Interiors to save all those, so have all those national parks and wildlife that we would have just been mowed under by everybody else.
Okay, so he's a tough guy.
He instituted the minimum wage.
Yeah.
In New York. He cleaned up New York, got rid of all the textile files, the child labor, all that shit when he was, a commissioner of some kind in New York City. And he was also fucking rough rider. He actually just put his dick where his mouth was, or not so much that, but
what was his party?
He was the Bull Moose Party.
Yes.
Before that, he was also a Democrat.
Yeah.
And he brought up San Juan fucking hell. He was a fucking badass in his own right, in his own age, and he backed up his shit. He got shot during a campaign speech.
That's what I was going to say.
Kept talking.
That's my favorite Teddy Roosevelt story, is that he got shot and he went on ahead and kept doing his speech.
He got shot, punched the guy out, and just got back up on the pulpit and said...
They don't make guys like that anymore. I don't know.
Yeah, do we have anything close to that nowadays?
But the biggest thing that I think he did was he broke up the monopolies. And I think that's something we have a huge problem with. Again, we may not technically have monopolies, but with these super companies, we're looking at the same kind of situation, I think, as when Teddy Roosevelt came in. And honestly, I think the future of democracy and capitalism was at stake before Teddy Roosevelt came up and picked up them and broke up the monopolies.
Well, the heads of the three biggest companies in the world, this U.S. Steel, Shell Oil, and they got together and basically bought a president and got him elected.
That Taft?
Yeah. Well, not Taft. It was the guy that was right before Roosevelt, because he was made the vice president because they stuck him there so he couldn't do anything. No, Wilson came later. Wilson was
Wilson was a...
I want to say not Garfield, but...
McKinley?
No, one of the ones that got shot. So
McKinley got shot.
McKinley, that's right. So they installed McKinley. They bought him. They paid for him.
Yeah,
they put him in there. They put Teddy Roosevelt in there because he was making too much of a fuss. And they were like, he won't be able to do anything as vice president because vice president back then, you didn't do shit. You couldn't do shit.
Yeah.
And they're like, he is one heartbeat away from being the president, though. And go, that'll never happen.
Yeah.
Oh, look, our worst nightmare happened.
Yeah, Teddy Roosevelt brought judo to the United States.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know if there'd even be MMA here or jiu-jitsu or any of that stuff.
Also, that's why we have teddy bears.
That's right. Yes. Also, he was the one who signed off on publication of The Jungle. The New York Times was not going to run it. But he, Teddy Roosevelt, when he was, fighting in the Spanish-American War, more guys died from bad meat products than died from bullets. And so he had it in for the meat trust. He saw that the book, was basically taking them to task, so he signed off on it, and that's why we had the jungle.
Yep, I've seen that. I've read that.
So I'm a very big fan of Teddy Roosevelt.
Plus, I like whenever the History Channel does like a documentary like TR, the American Life. They have Richard Dreyfuss doing the voice of Teddy Roosevelt. And that just makes it better. Because you go from like Stand By Me to like.
So I'm glad we're all in agreement because Teddy Roosevelt's one of my favorite presidents.
We need another
if
guy
not my
like
favorite.